Hi there, Andy Ron here with Montana Land Source. This is the video summary of the Montana Land Report for July 19th, 2023. It's been a very active week in the Montana land market over the past week with 37 total property updates. That's a much higher number than what we've been seeing most of the summer. Most of the summer we see around numbers in the low 20s for total property updates. This week, 12 new listings, which is quite high. 10 price changes, which is also high. We have consistently seen a high amount of price changes week to week. The market is adjusting. We're in a correction market is what I've been calling it. So we're seeing a lot of price reductions going through the summer. One property back on the market, which shows not a lot of properties falling out of contract. Once properties go under contract, pending to be sold, they do end up selling. 8 pending sales and 6 sales. Some interesting conversations this week with brokers. One that caught my attention was a broker talking about having a well-qualified ag buyer who had financing and was well qualified, but was frustrated and made a comment about why isn't the market adjusting to the high interest rates. So this buyer has seen his buying power reduced with high interest rates and wondering why the market wasn't correcting for that. Well, first of all, the Montana land market is dominated by cash buying, not finance buying. So that's one explanation. And also, even though most land in Montana is in agricultural production, the basis for value is not ag production. So on the one hand, you wouldn't really expect the market to respond to those factors. But in general, I think we often see in the Montana land market not a lot of responsiveness to things like economic downturns and whatnot. Now, like I said earlier, we have seen a lot of price changes, and so there have been adjustments in the market and lowering of overall average listing prices and that kind of stuff. And you can see those stats, those live stats on mtlandsource.com. But we also see a lot of resilience or resistance to change. Even though we're seeing regular price reductions week after week, it's actually a relatively small amount of percentage of what's on the market overall. And there are many properties that are on the market that haven't had price changes in a long time. And in general, historically, I think Montana land sellers tend to be very strong. They tend to have high expectations of value for their land and are resistant to price changes. Talk to any broker and you can hear story after story about how difficult it is to get their sellers quote unquote realistic, but sellers' expectations aren't necessarily based on market factors. There is not a lot of market information in the Montana land market. That's something that Montana Land Source is out to help address, but it's not a highly functioning market like other markets like housing or cars or corn or cattle. It's a very sloppy market. It's a very inefficient market, not a lot of price discovery, and so that results in a lot of sellers being pretty strong in their pricing. That is the report for this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next week.